If you are simply bringing someone under your wing just for the sole purpose of giving back, I'm not saying that can't be a good purpose. I think that will eventually fail.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Welcome one, welcome all to another minisode. Dustin Harris, your humble host, hanging out with you in the podcast chair. We are sponsored today, of course, by Spark for Appraisers. Check them out. That's their website. That's their system, Spark for FOR Appraisers.com. All right, another, I don't know, maybe it's a controversial subject. I guarantee anything the appraiser coach says, I'm going to get some negative feedback on, right? And this is probably one that's going to get a little bit more than your normal feedback. But folks, I call them the way I see them, and because I think it's important. I think it's important to understand principles and procedures and ways of doing things that are real. And so I'm going to be real with you. People say, are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist? I'm a realist. I just got off a coaching call with one of my clients, an appraiser who I've been with for quite a while. And he is progressing through the steps of, from where he was to where he wants to be. And the next step on the agenda is, a trainee for him, right? He's done some other things that have helped him to progress and to become more successful, to have more time for himself, to make more money. He's made more money since he's been with me as a client. And now is the next step in the process. And part of the conversation that we had today was why. Because this idea of being an appraiser is one thing. Training can be a completely different thing, or a similar thing, but different in many ways. All right, it's kind of the next level when you start to work with somebody else, to share the wealth of the things that you have learned with others. One of the things that he said to me, and I think this was an interesting conversation that we had, that I think is sometimes lost, because a lot of times. Well, let me tell you what he said, and then I'll dive into it. He said, Dustin, I can't just do this out of charity. Now, we talked about this idea of altruism, right? The idea of we all strive for altruism. Many times when I ask appraisers, why do they train? The answer I have to question a little bit, because the answer is often, well, to give back. Now, let me be very clear, right? This is where people start to attack. Well, Dustin, what's wrong with that? We should give back. Somebody gave to you. They gave you an opportunity. Why shouldn't you give back? I'm not disagreeing with any of that, folks. I'm not. But if that's the only reason that you're training, I promise you it will fail. Stick with me. One of the things that this individual said wisely was, Dustin, I'm not running a charity here. And guess what, folks? This is a business. Now, hats off, applause all around for an individual who says, you know what, somebody took a chance on me. Somebody was my mentor. Somebody sacrificed so that I could be in this business. Well, I 100% agree, right? My father, as you know, passed away this year. He was my mentor. God bless him. Rest in peace, Dad. Wonderful man. And he truly gave out of the goodness of his heart. I don't think he ever made really any money back on me. And he did it out of charity. Now, a family situation might be a little bit different than what I'm talking about here. If you are simply bringing someone under your wing just for the sole purpose of giving back, I'm not saying that can't be a good purpose. I think that will eventually fail. I'll tell you why after the break. First, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a great company called Spark. Spark it's data entry through technology is probably the best way to describe it. You're still fully in control of everything that you choose, right? You choose the subject data, you choose the comps, you choose everything that goes into the report. But where Spark saves you is in your time or paying someone else's time to get that data from one screen to your software, whatever software you choose. It will save you about 30 minutes on every single report. Check them out by going to spark4appraisers.com. Again, spark4appraisers.com. All right, welcome back to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out once again on the podcast here. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, by the way. You can find us on our YouTube channel. It's called The Appraiser Coach. I know, hard to find, right? Hard to remember. You don't even need to write it down while you're driving around taking your comp pictures. Just remember when you get back to your computer, it is YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. You'll never miss an episode. Like this video if you think it is helpful. Again, it's The Appraiser Coach on the YouTube channel. We're talking today about trainees. Now, I want to make it very clear so there's no misunderstanding, okay? Part of your decision to become a mentor does need to be to give back. But if that is your sole reason for training, I promise you it will fail, and here is why. When you train, it is a huge sacrifice in time. It is a huge sacrifice in money. There will come times when you will wonder why you are doing this, right? And if it is not a win-win, and when I say a win-win, I'm not just trying to mimic Stephen Covey. I'm trying to teach a principle in a very brief amount of time to say that it has to be a win on the trainee side. That's a no-brainer, right? You're giving them an opportunity to become an appraiser, to have a career, but it has to be a win on your side as a mentor as well, in the sense of money, in the aspect of money. Stick with me, okay? Money is not everything. I understand that. Wealth is made up of many, many things. I often say that wealth is doing what you want, with whom you want, when you want, where you want, because you want. Okay? Digest that for a little bit. I have found over the years, and honestly, I found the hard way over the years, that if you are not in a relationship, a business relationship that is a win for both sides, it will not last. Many people say, well, yeah, it's a win for me, but it's not for them. But hey, I'm going to stick with this as long as I can. Here's the point. That does happen. Those lopsided relationships do happen, but they are very short-lived. Why? Because eventually somebody is going to wake up to the fact that it is not a win for them. So for example, let me just briefly say it this way. If training somebody is a win for you, right, and you, heaven forbid, are utilizing them in such a way that's not fair to them, but it's more fair to you, they might last with you until they get their license. But if you think they're going to be loyal long-term, you probably have another thing coming. Loyalty has to do with the environment that they are in and their willingness to stick with that environment because it will continue to be a positive for them into the future. The opposite of that is true as well, my friends. If you are in a situation that is a win for you and not for them, the win for them and not for you, you are eventually going to let them go because of the cost of doing business. Think through it. My recommendation today is, if you are looking to train, that you understand that we are not running a charity here. Now, can your intentions be partly altruistic? Can they partly be to give back? Can they partly be because it's the right thing to do? Absolutely, 100%. But it cannot be, speaking of 100% of the reason that you are doing it. Thank you for joining me today, folks. It's been a pleasure. Please, again, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on our website as well, theappraisercoach.com. Join us at the All-Star team, at the Dream Team. Would love to have you be a part of what we are doing. Check us out, again, theappraisercoach.com, and go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.